Good morning, honorable judges. I am Indira from Senior High School Number 1 Pangkalpinang, Bangka Belitung, and I am the first speaker from the negative team. Today we will be debating under the motion, this House prefers the strategy of pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police. Now, before I move on to my argument for today, I have a couple of points of rebuttal. My first point of rebuttal is that the first speaker of the affirmative team said that it is not all police that is doing this police abuse, but these few police are being so abusive to these minorities, and these few police are the ones that are making everything bad. So, just because of these few people, we cannot have the whole country suffer. Next point is that racism can be unlearned. We have come to a point in America where racism is almost a habit and a daily lifestyle. It is actually circulating around the community, and it is not something very hard to unlearn because racism has become a habit in these places. Now, there's something called systemic racism that is going on in United States of America, which is highly dangerous for the people in these minor communities. Now, the first speaker of the affirmative team also said that they have a few solutions to combat this problem. The first one is the diverse recruitment and also the body cameras and the independent counsel. But how are you actually going to guarantee these reforms? But actually these reforms have been going on for the past decade, but then there's no reduce in police brutality or police killing. Now let's move on to my argument. Defund the police means reallocating or redirecting funding away from the police department to other government agencies funded by the local municipality. Defunding does not mean to abolish the police force, rather they want to see the rotten trees of the police force chopped down and start anew. Take Camden, New Jersey as an example. Nearly a decade ago, Camden disbanded its police force and dissolved this local police union. Different from abolishing and starting anew, defunding the police highlights fiscal responsibility, advocates for a market-driven approach to taxpayers' money, and has potential benefits that will reduce police violence and crime. Now, my first point is that by shrinking their massive budgets, we can help end decades of racially driven social control oppression, as well as address social problems and at the root, instead of investing in an institution that further oppresses and terrorizes communities. Now, why should we actually be giving these police officers money when all they've done is being violent to the black community, to oppress the minor community, and also they're not even repenting for their actions. As long as they get money, as long as they get the power that they have, they will do anything to uphold that power. Now, there are already 13 cities that are defunding their police. I will give some examples: Austin, Texas, New York, Los Angeles, California, and San Francisco. And these defunding the police has actually brought better to the community than to the police. When they defund this police, they give the community more money that can be allocated to the mental health institutes, to the black people, so that they have better housing, better jobs, better mental health from these people that are oppressing them. Putting this money to invest in black community, in education and mental health institution is more pertinent and also more beneficial for these people, as there are higher rates of black people are getting arrested than actually white people. But when a black person is just holding a phone, they say that they're holding a gun, which is definitely there's something wrong with the system here, and there's something wrong with the police force. Now, my next point is that police don't keep us safe. As long as we continue to pump money into their pockets, they will always into our corrupt criminal justice system at the expense of housing, health, and education investment. No police brutality will stop. They will just enjoy all the luxuries that they have, the money that they have, which is too much to actually to run the police office. They should actually allocate these resources to different kinds of things: education, mental health, to the black community who is being oppressed, who is actually the very people that is receiving the very short end of the stick instead of the white police community. it is also beneficial to defund the police because it will strengthen the community. It will be more for the community and strengthen the community. Why do we need the police when we can actually strengthen the local community to actually protect these people rather than having the police that doesn't do anything but do harm to these people of minority? Now, my next point is that we need these resources. We actually need these resources in schools, health, and in our future. Yet these people are continuing to be rewarded for their bad behavior. These police are being rewarded for their bad behavior. Now, let's say that not everybody is a bad police, but then these people are actually ignoring the bad police because they have nothing to say, or either that these police that are doing this violence are of higher power than them. So what say do they actually have in this case? But by defunding the police, we can put these resources and allocate them to better places that will benefit the country rather than turn the country upside down. Eric Garner was killed by chokehold, the use of which the NYPD banned in 1993, but it still happened with the case of George Floyd. Now, this proves that these regulations or this institutional reform is actually not doing anything in our society. It's been proven by the countless cases of black people or people of minority continuously dying, is that these are not things that can prevent police from killing us or even being brutal to us. Next, defunding the police can also be a better thing for economic and social security for marginalized society. With the Texas police funding is actually $3 million, which is way too much for these police to actually hold. Now they can use these resources to buy more guns, more firearms, which can actually harm the people when they actually do. When they protest or do something of the sort that will make their community better. Local, state, and federal government spend twice as much on police than welfare assistance, which is much more important than these police. Welfare assistance for the marginalized communities, especially that are very, very minimal, is definitely more important than the police officers who are being extremely brutal and who are actually killing these people, who are actually putting this burden on these people and hurting them, but we are giving them these resources to do more of that. Police don't have to, now a few solutions I have is that police don't have to respond to non-criminal matters such as mental health, homelessness, instead we can give these resources to unarmed professionals instead. Now, my next point is that we can reinvest in these services, local services that can actually help people of the same community so that they can trust each other. Floyd's death on camera was a powerful demonstration that the police reform efforts have failed to stop racist policing and killings. Militarized and violent responding to peaceful protests have led us to think that police really needs this much money or firearms. To that, I say I disagree to today's motion because it will just make police brutality even more, and also there's no guarantee that these policies will actually will reduce police abuse. That's all from me. Thank you.